Hi there. Settle down. It's
Sharon, good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, this is already going to be yeah.
I had a friend, it was a director friend who came to me early on, and I was talking to him about casting, and he just said to me, Jason, you're making a movie about SNL. Surrender. And that is my advice to you.
You know, duly noted and taken. I'm just going to try to slip this in here. I'm Sharon Waxman. Hi there. I'm the editor of The Wrap. We're coming from our raucous and uncontrolled studio here at the Toronto Film Festival with the cast and the writer director of Saturday Night, which is some of the most fun I've had at the theater in a long time. So welcome, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, let's just start down here and let everybody introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Rachel Sennott. Should I say who I
you
play?
play.
And I play Rosie Schuster.
I'm Dylan O'Brien. I play Dan Aykroyd.
I'm Ella Hunt, and I play Gilda Radner.
Cory Michael Smith. I play Chevy Chase.
I'm Gabriel Labelle. I play Lorne Michaels.
Lamorne Morris. I play my dad, Garrett Morris.
Oh, he's your dad. That's why you look like him.
Nepotism.
Did you make Daddy proud?
On the subject of nepotism, I'm Jason Reitman, and I am the co-writer and director.
Okay, so I have to say, Jason and I go back a very long way to your very first film, Thank You for Smoking.
Yeah, one of my first interviews, actually.
And one of your first interviews, which you aced.
Okay.
Well, somebody called me up. They said there's this new director. You really should meet him. Come to the set. And I went on. I got to go on the set of Thank You for Smoking. If any of you guys, you've all seen this movie,
of course.
Naturally.
Live.
So
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh no, you really should see it. Like it's.
I have actually seen it.
Oh, you have. Okay.
It's only me that hasn't.
Okay. Well, there's still time. But the good news is, anyway.
It's a great documentary.
Half of them were born right after, so.
No, okay, you're really making it this painful, Jason. It's so great to reconnect here at Toronto, where your home turf, and I want to hear all about this insane idea of remaking the opening episode and the creation of Saturday Night Live. While like most of the people are still with us, with the exception of John Belushi, of course,
And Gilda Radner.
and Gilda Radner, yeah. These are all childhood icons for all of us. For you and I, we'll call ourselves the olds in this interview. But what possessed you?
Right after I made Juno, my agent asked me, what do you want to do next? And I said to him, I had two dreams as a kid. One was to direct movies, and the other was to be a writer at Saturday Night Live. And he literally called Lorne and said, would you let him come write for a week? And Lorne's response was, yes, the young man can come to space camp. And I spent a week at SNL in 2008. I wrote a sketch. It got on air. It was one of the greatest weeks of my life. And the hour before showtime was the most adrenaline I've ever felt in my life. I mean, I've been to the World Series. I've been to the NBA Finals. Nothing compares to being on the ground there. And I knew there and then that someday I'd find a way to capture what it felt like to make that show.
But you're deciding to cast people who are playing really, really well-known, iconic, and incredibly complex people, and yet you found all this is a small taste of the number of people. I think you were saying there are how many speaking?
There are 80 speaking roles in the movie, and usually 30 to 40 of them were mic'd on every day. So our sound mixer actually had to bring a second mixing board. They can tell you every day you would show up at set and there was a table with 40 mics on it, and you'd come over, get mic'd.
Yeah, DJs could never. This guy is like on the playing the boards. It was kind of amazing to watch.
So you're all running around 30 Rock, but it's not. Yeah, it looks exactly like 30 Rock.
It does look exactly like 30 Rock.
Right?
I want to say thanks for the mic, Dylan. It's like I've watched the show in
You're
real life.
never getting
before.
the mic back.
Yeah. No, I think it was kind of crazy because you could wander around. There were multiple levels to it, and there was never any place where, like, once you were in 30 Rock, you were just in 30 Rock. It was never like, and this is a random holding room. Like, no. This is Lauren's office and you're taking a nap here during lunch. But it's like, that's where it was. And that was really cool to get to like run around and play in that space.
Yeah, there were times where I would be in Lauren's office and I would have to ask myself, can I be in this man's office? And I go, oh, he's another actor. It's fine. Yeah.
Also, that extended to our dressing rooms. Jason had the amazing idea to make cast camp. Instead of us having individual dressing rooms, we basically had a massive dorm that was decked out like SNL 1975 with like shag rug and cozy couches and
There's a ping pong table.
table.
Sometimes you'd walk in, they'd all be dressed as bees playing ping pong together.
I have some videos of that. They're going to turn up online.
Okay, so Gabriel, by the way, nice to see you. And
You as well.
We last saw you when we were doing work. You were working on Fablemans, and I think we were your first interview that you'd ever done.
Oh yeah.
So you've come quite a way since then.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. We have scars. No, we were delighted. But I mean, it's so much fun to see you as Lamorne Michaels. I just feel like it's such a brave thing to do, to play this guy who's still working. He could, kill your
hate me.
career, right?
Yeah.
Like this could be bad.
Yeah. It could be really bad. And I could get it wrong, and all of my comedy heroes and favorite actors and comedians could think I just ruined a very important figure of their life, and I could ruin Jason's movie and all of these guys as well.
Way to have a good attitude. And so,
We'll
okay,
see.
but seriously, how did you cast him, and then how did you approach this? Because there's got to be. He's the center.
I saw Fablemans at a screening in London, and I went over to talk to Steven after, and
Spielberg.
Steven, and
SS.
and standing next to Steven is this young man who somehow had the poise and confidence to stand next to Steven Spielberg and own the room, and started sharing stories from the set of that movie. And I was like, who is this guy? And I immediately took him out to coffee the next morning and started talking about Saturday Night Live, because I felt like I had just met a young Lorne Michaels.
Wow. Okay. And so how did you prepare? How did you think about it?
Well, we had that one meeting, and then you said, yeah, I'm just trying to meet young actors. And
I
see.
played it cool.
Yeah, he played it really cool.
On the first date, you can't be like, I want to marry you.
And then that was in like February or January of 23, and then in June later that year, I find out that they would like you to audition and put yourself on tape or go in person. I'm like, I'll go in person. They go, okay, but it's in New York, and we can't fly you. I was like, that's fine. So I flew myself there, stayed on my cousin's couch, and then there were a couple scenes. I don't think I told you this, but I was so nervous about like getting his voice right, of like that my voice performatively is like an octave higher. So leading up to the audition for like a couple days, I was just like screaming and chain smoking around New York trying to get my voice.
Nobody noticed.
Lower.
His original reading was with Cooper, with Cooper Hoffman, and the two of them together had the kind of chemistry that a director is just longing for. That you just watch happen and you go, that's it. Keep that. Don't change a thing. Just somehow don't lose that.
What was the scene? It was that they were doing.
It was their fight. It was this fight that's in the stairwell. It's one of the best scenes in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And
I wish Cooper was here. He's
Me too.
so
Yeah.
extraordinary
Who
in
plays
the
the
movie.
iconic television executive
Dick Ebersol.
Cooper and I
Yeah.
had known each other for a couple of years at that point. He was a COVID PA on the Fablemans right after shooting Licorice Pizza, which I think is
What?
Yeah, I met him on the set of
What?
the Fablemans.
Wait,
getting
what?
the COVID people coffee. He's
So,
What?
PTA, who has been like,
Well, I
I think
looks a little
PTA
old
has
to be
been
getting coffee.
as like a family member to Cooper Hoffman, and I think after Licorice Pizza was like, all right, you've been the star, but now you're going to be the PA.
Okay, it's only dawning on me now. He's Philip Seymour Hoffman relation.
Son, yeah.
Son. It's all coming together.
I have a
for
general
me.
rule
Only
That-
Nepo babies on your sets.
Yeah, that's what I tried. That's what I aim for.
My dad works in insurance, and my insurance is free. So in some ways,
But was Cooper originally
We all
auditioning
have
for
our- we all
Eversole?
have
I'm
our,
insurance.
you know,
He wasn't
baby.
because I think we cold read that scene. We didn't think we would bump
Oh,
into
that's
each
right.
other at the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
time. I had auditioned, and then you asked me. We were like, hang out for a couple minutes. I go outside. I see Cooper in the waiting room, and I'm like, I hope he's not auditioning for Lauren, and because he's so good. And then he's not. Who is he auditioning for?
I actually don't remember, but
He wasn't auditioning for Dick.
no. That's the thing with the movie
Whoa.
was
Belushi?
everyone had to. It was Belushi, I think. Everyone had to be
Wow.
on their toes. This is it's a movie that simultaneously there was a lot of choreography because the way that the shots were built, the set
sure.
was built, everything. But then after that, it was okay. Today you're the lead, but tomorrow you're the background, and you have to figure out what you're going to do in the background. Because if you're the lead, you're like, all right, here's your dialogue. This is what you're going to be doing right in front of camera. But just because you're not the lead or have the dialogue in the scene doesn't mean you get off the hook. You have to come up with something to do. Something I think I would tell all of them is find your moments. And you're in the background. You can do what you want. Be in character and just like go for it.
And you can make your way into the scene. If you just follow Gabe out of the scene, you get a new scene. I learned that. I'm like, where should I go? He leaves. I'm like, yeah, I'll leave too. And then you know, you're at
back
it.
for 4
So,
more days.
and if you start talking, and the camera's rolling, they film it. So it's, you know.
Well, it's funny because I think usually as an actor, if you're in the background, you're like, well, no one's listening, no one's recording. But everyone's mic'd. We're recording everything.
Everything.
So we can bring.
I unplugged. So took the anchor back off. I was like, I don't know.
Oh my God. I mean, this just sounds like, what was this like filming this? It sounds insane.
It's the hardest thing I've ever done. The amount of choreo. We shot the movie twice. We shot the movie first with stand-ins. So in the 2 months leading up to shoot, we did the entire thing with stand-ins to figure out the choreography because it's a movie that's shot in order.
So you had people playing the people who were playing the people?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, just checking.
I mean, now, when watching that footage back, did you find any of the stand-ins, like, you know, were they doing a dope job that you said, man, I would actually put this person in something?
They almost all ended up getting a line in the movie.
Really?
They have little beats because
Amazing.
they were your stand-in. So like Gabe's stand-in has a lovely beat where he delivers the Johnny Carson show right at the top of the movie, and he goes, you know, it's like, where the fuck you been? It's like, oh, here it is, here's Tonight Show, and he just runs off, and they
that's
all
awesome.
have little beats.
But all of that work that Jason did ahead of time was amazing for us because it was truly controlled chaos. And it always felt like Jason's game plan was so solid that what we got to do, like playing, we were just unleashed animals truly on set because we always knew that Jason knew exactly where the camera was going to be and what he was catching. So it was just like utter play for everybody else.
Yeah, controlled chaos is such a good way to say it because it was like everyone had their own path and track at the same time, and
not just the actors, but the background actors.
Yeah.
Like you'd done background camp, so that like the costume workers knew how to like spray something on Emily, or like the grips knew how to like hang a lighting rig, and so it felt when we came onto set like we were coming on, like the background were working the set. Like it was very dream within a dream, weird.
Well, even regardless of where we were going to be standing or moving, Jason did such a good job of calming us down. Everyone, it was so unifying to be like, well, this is how he sounds, but I don't know how, like that's performative, or like he walks like this, or but like everyone was just, we were all in our heads, and Jason did such a brilliant job of just getting us to chill out and have the most fun that we possibly could and relax. And I think it's the best thing that could have happened to any actor, let alone on this project. And I think you got the absolute best of all of us.
They're all being very kind, but I've never worked with a cast like this. And I've actually had extraordinary casts through my career. I've been really lucky.
As we all know.
But I've never had anything like this where...
I'm gonna tell George Clooney that you said that, but...
Yeah, no, please. I'm sure he'd love that. He'd be like, yep, he's right. Where they're all playing at top level, all showing up and ready to have a good time, all ready to kind of fill in the script and find their own moments. And I look at the film as a director and I go, Yeah, there's no one I want to recast. Everyone is perfect. There's not a weak link. And they all each individually found a way to capture the essence of the person that they were playing. People that we all know well. That's terrifying work, I would think, as an actor.
100%.
So, I have to ask you guys: has the original Not Ready for Prime Time cast been to set, seen this? Dad showed up.
Do you want to clarify this? I think
not my real dad. I didn't think you were gonna believe me, and then emotionally I felt the lump here for you, and so to cleanse myself. No,
but
that's not
everybody
my daddy.
presumes.
Yeah, no, not my daddy.
Okay,
but he did
but
get a
your
chance.
name is Morris.
His last name is Morris. No relation. But
Okay.
when I was a kid, I used to tell people he was my dad. I thought that was fun.
Okay, now I'm
Really?
blushing, but thank you
did.
for
Yeah.
correcting
was
things.
extraordinary. It was the crazy thing. It was you were the first person that I cast in the film, and like you literally, you sang the song. I was like,
What did you do for your
Oh.
casting? Was it the song?
Okay.
Yeah, it was the song, but it was also
the guilt,
White Guilt Relief Fund.
Oh my god.
Oh my
It was.
gosh.
Yeah, I remember when I got the audition, I was at home in Chicago, and I was sleeping, and I rolled over, I checked my email, and I lit up, and I just went, I could do this shit right now. I could do that. That's literally what I said, and I was like, because usually I get in my head.
Did you do it
when
in your pajamas?
I did it by myself. I did it. I put on. I had to go to my brother's room and find a suit, and then like in a tie, one of his old ties, and then I remember setting the camera up by myself. Now normally I'll call a friend and help me, but the way the audition you had put set for us, it didn't call for that. So I just set the camera on a tripod statically, and then just did it a few times, and kept watching the original footage to make sure my voice was as close to Garrett's
You
as
get
possible.
it so right.
Yeah.
And
It's insane.
and I remember sending it in, and I kept calling my manager, going like, "You think I should redo it? Should I comb my hair? Should I do this? You know?"
Okay,
and it worked out.
so has the original, anybody from the original cast seen this?
Most of them have at this point. A couple of them have not, but almost all of them seen it. In fact, we did an LA and a New York screening where they came together as a group to watch it together.
Oh my
and
god!
I think
hope
it
you've
was
got some like.
highly emotional for them because they're watching the moment of the birth of their careers, the birth of this show,
Right.
and they're thinking back at not only who they were, but who they were as a group. It's these friendships and people have lost as well.
That's right.
So I think it was a highly emotional thing.
Well, thank you guys for coming. Saturday night, you guys crushed it. Jason, congrats. Like, what a super fun film. And you're going to have the best ride on this as you take it out to the public. I'm so excited for
Thanks,
you.
Thanks for
Sharon.
having us.
Thank you.